Welcome. In this next section, we're going to be going over SEO Press and how to set up the schemas section. So let's dive right in. All right, so on the left-hand side here, you're going to see SEO. Go all the way down to schemas. Okay, so this is where we create the schema for the website. Let's look and see if we can find, that's not going to help. Look for some schema examples. Sorry. Google schema examples. Okay. Let's try it. Moz. Moz is a Mozilla item here. No, let's go back. Try JSON LD. Here we go. So this is actually what we're going to be creating. There we go. So this is HTML right here. And we're going to add that to the website with some very specific items, right? So for this one, there's context, there's type product, brand equals Acme, logo, there's your logo URL, etc., etc. So these are basically fields. These are called key and value, but essentially they're fields that you can fill out to help notify Google of what is on the page. And there's a lot of information that goes in with this, and it's not something you always have to do. For example, WooCommerce, if you're using WooCommerce, they already create all of this for your products, so you don't have to. So that is definitely a sigh of relief. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the other items. Okay. So based on what we've already done, we have already created the organization schema, the website schema, and if you completed the local business section, you've created that schema as well. So that's 3 we don't have to worry about. So we're going to actually look at the rest. So let's go ahead and create a schema for our blog posts, right? So we're going to call this blog posts. All right, select your data type. This is going to be what's the information you're writing about. So this could be an article based on what we have here. That looks good. Please note there's also a custom option, which I recommend not touching that unless you know what you're doing. All right, so use this schema if the post type is equal to posts, right? We talked about the post type before. So now we're diving a little deeper into the technical realm. So for all blog posts, because the post type equals post, now we can actually set this information globally. So select your article type. So depending on what type of articles you're writing, then you could select a different item. So the top 2 recommended ones are going to be article or blog, but it's going to be dependent on what your content is, right? And let's say you do advisor content, news, and technical articles, then you're going to have to come back in here and say the category is equal to something, or maybe the tags are equal to something, to get more definitive and with this information. Since we're looking at it's essentially a blog post about financial stuff. I don't see anything here, and I don't know if I want to call it blog posting because it's not traditional blogging. So I'm just going to leave it as article generic. For the headline, we want to pick in the post title, which is the title of the blog post. For the author, we want to select the post author. For the image, we want to select the featured image of the article. So this next part is always fun. So coverage start date. Let's say your publish date, and also select that for the publish or for the start time. And for the coverage end date, live blog posting article type only. That means we don't need this. So we can leave those blank. Speakable CSS selector. There's no real need for you to worry about this unless you actually know what the code is used for. So that's kind of counterproductive if you don't know what it is. But we have this generic blog post all set up and ready to go. And so we just hit publish. That's pretty exciting, right? So let's say you have a specific page, right? Let's say you have a page for your services, right? And it looks like all of these pages, there's a lot of these that are service pages. So the way that I would have developed this is I would have created a custom post type called services and leveraged that because it's easier to manage. But since we don't have that, then we have to kind of work around that. And so let's add a schema for our services. Oh, sorry. Service pages, okay? Select your data type is service. All right, show this schema if the post type is pages. Actually, because we don't want this to be a global thing, then we actually don't want to set this post type. There we go. There's no way to actually remove this. Add a rule, yeah. So we want to leave that blank as much as possible. The service name is going to be the post title. Service type is also going to be the post title. Sometimes you can add specific categories. So if we did create a custom post type called services, we could create categories and then we can use that here. Service description, excerpt. We could use content, which is all the content of the page, but excerpt is actually going to pull in the first couple hundred characters or so. Image, featured image, area served. So this is not going to be an item that we can just select. So this is going to be manual text. And we're going to say the USA. So it's going to be United States. And you can check these things here on schema.org. Area served. Yep. That's what we want to look at. So this gives you a breakdown of what's actually here. And you can do different types of information. And this stuff is not exactly not always, what's the word I'm looking for? Not always cleanly described. But here's an example of police station. So they did this with JSON LD, and their area served is actually a geo circle, which you can see that that's a geo shape. And in there, they provide actual latitude, longitude with a radius. So that's pretty unique to be able to, it's good if you're able to be that specific. But nonetheless, if you need specific information about these things, you can definitely come to schema.org. Provider name. The next one here is site title, location image. Let's do the featured. Let's do the, yeah, we'll do the featured image. Provider mobility is static or dynamic. So it's going to be manual text. We're going to call this static. Our slogan is our tagline. Our street address, city, state, postal code, country is, so this is stuff you want to fill out. And you would have to set this as manual text for each of these. The phone. All right, and price range. All right, so price range, I know. I'll just put in $2 signs. Our telephone is here. Okay. So you see it also says international format. So +1 and remove the excess. All right, longitude and latitude, we don't have it. So I have to remove that, but you should have it. Country is United States. And we can try to use this address here, but it's probably not going to work too well. Street address. Okay. And that is everything. So because we have not set this to be dynamic or to apply automatically, we can actually set this up to be manually executed. And so I can pull up a page real quick and show you business consult consolidation. Okay, cool. And so on the page, you would scroll down and see this structured data type section. And so you just select, nope, let's try automatic. Nope. What we're looking for is to select the schema that's already built. There we go. It's not here. Interesting. So we'll have to come back to that. But normally you would just be here and you would select the post type that's already there. I'm sorry, pages. There we go. Update. So then you refresh your page. There we go. So automatic is already set to this service type. And so for each page, we would have to disable this. Otherwise, we can set our own schema manually, which is basically going through and filling out all that information again. So on this page, we definitely want this. So on another page, we would want to disable it. So we'd have to go through all of these pages, like about, account created, all of these, this application page, a login page. Let's see, cart, okay. Change password, checkout result. I still don't know why those pages are here, but collections, that's in draft, but we still want to update it. Contact, credit repair. These two ads, I don't really, I'll leave them on the ads. Okay. Let's see. DIY credit, order confirmation. That's definitely not useful. Financing, estimates, forgot password. We'll use that one. Fresh start, no idea what that is. Home page, we'll remove that one. My account, we'll remove that one. Our blog, we'll remove that one. These two privacy policies, no idea where there's two of them. Remove products, Pro Factor, I'm guessing that's a Proctor service. SBA loan, security question. Okay, I'll remove that. Shop, definitely. Sitemap, definitely remove that. Success stories, we can remove that one. Thank you pages, we can remove those. And thank you. Okay, so on all of these pages that have just been identified, we need to go through and disable the automatic schema. Not all, we want to disable this one. Okay, there we go. And privacy policy, we're going to do the same, disable this one. All right. So we'll just have to roll through and apply all of these one at a time. So if you have a lot of page content, that could get messy. Ooh. This was already published, so I don't know what's asking me to publish again like that. Okay. Shop page, disable, update. Okay. Sitemap, disable, update. Cool. Bop, 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 bop. So, yep, you can see how this will get tedious really quickly. But that's an option that we have at our disposal. Didn't take that long to go through these, but it's still a lot of pages to cover. So, yeah, you can see that there's no real way around this except to just do it. This is where the SEO side of things becomes more data entry like than it is actual stuff that I enjoy. I like to farm this type of stuff out just because it's more interesting to focus on the strategy and not focus on the tedious stuff like this. All right. We only got like 10 more pages to go. The reason it's important to do this now is so you don't screw something up later. Just it's better just to knock it out right away. It would have been smarter to just add a tag, call it something very hyper unique, like pro service page or something like that. That way it just applies automatically. That would have been useful. That's actually, I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Ooh. Edit schema if the taxonomy is equal to I'll have to pages have tags. Yeah. Let's try this one. It doesn't. Interesting. Okay. And I will have to figure that out later. But for now, I'm going to set the post ID. So with post ID, we're going to have to manually specify page. You can see this in the URL. Post equals 1934. So we would have to specify, the 20 pages like this and go through all of them and add them manually. So I'm going to leave it like that for now and then look for a better way to make this automatic for us. And so that's going to be fun. But nonetheless, this covers the basic of our schemas. And now you can see that we have 2 schemas that are custom. It tells you what pages, what post types they're on. I'm sorry, this is the schema type. And then tells you how they're applied. Now, the fun part about this, which I'm not going to dive into, is that if you have multiple locations, you can also create multiple local business schemas. So that's pretty sweet. Nonetheless, that covers our schema section. So I'm going to definitely have to go through and actually, I'll just go ahead and do that now. Let's say startup funding is one of these service pages. You can see that in the URL here where it says post equals 1272. Just copy that. And in your service pages, plug that in. All right. So now on this page, we have an automatic schema. And that's how it's done. So this is kind of the long way to do it. But if you have to be specific like this and you don't have any other choices, it's very useful. So that covers our section on schemas. I'm sure you're going to have lots of questions. Just note that with schemas, there is 1,000 variables and 1,000 different ways to do it, but the output of the structure is very consistent. So no worries. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, complaints, send them over. We'll do what we can to help. We'll see you guys in the next video where we will be covering redirects, which is a pretty sweet topic. So I'll see you guys in the next video.